Welcome to
The Neapolitan.
Scoop Podcast.
My name is Steph.
My name is Shay.
and my name is Rose. Thank you for tuning into Neapolitan Scoop Podcast, where you get your weekly scoop. If you have not subscribed to our podcast, what are you waiting for? Go subscribe right now. Before we jump in, a quick note on our content. Our content is created for adult audiences only, so we do advise listener and viewer discretion. It may be a lot to take in. Sometimes we touch on topics that are very hard. So if you do feel like you're overwhelmed, take a breather, leave for a second, come right back. Today's topic is recognizing your toxic traits. According to WebMD, warning signs to watch out for and that can indicate that you're dealing with a toxic person can include the following. You feel like you're being manipulated. You're constantly confused by the person's behavior. You feel like you deserve an apology that never comes. That would, okay. You always have to defend yourself to this person. You never feel fully comfortable around them. And the last one, you feel bad about yourself in their presence. So it is a lot, a lot. But with this being said, we're going to take it over to Shay for some questions.
Okay, cool. So mind you, we're talking about recognizing our own toxic traits. So that was regarding if you're dealing with somebody and their toxic traits and how to recognize that. So maybe we can try to flip this around and kind of like, related to us personally. So first question I have is what are some signs that might indicate you're exhibiting toxic behavior, even if you don't realize it?
So what are some traits?
Maybe like thinking you're always right when you could be wrong, right? I think that's a toxic trait. Never thinking you're wrong. Like, oh, I'm always right. Like, what I say is right. Like, no, sometimes you're wrong.
Yeah.
And not allowing that other person to say, like, yeah, you're wrong. You did this, and you're not really wanting to accept that because you don't do no wrong.
I think not being able to take criticism. So when you're not able to take feedback that somebody's giving you, take it. There are people that are going to give you feedback, and it's going to be like because they're just being petty. But when somebody's truly, genuinely telling you something because they're like, hey, I've noticed this. Let me tell you about this. And I think if you take it in a negative way and you're just like, well, fuck this person. They're just hating. I think that's kind of toxic. That's
Not fuck you, you hating.
I mean, there's people out there that are gonna be like, whatever you say, whatever you say. I've met some people who are like, whatever, you gonna say what you're gonna say, and like you can say whatever you want to say, because I don't care. I'm not gonna change. Like, okay,
you fucking hater.
And there's no point in even having a conversation with them because it's like it's going nowhere.
Yeah.
What's another one?
I think what are signs that indicate you're exhibiting toxic behavior? So I have tried to start recognizing some of my toxic traits because I'm not perfect. And I noticed that one of my toxic traits is that I don't know how to react to positive criticism. Like when people say, oh, you're doing a great job on this. And I'll kind of like flip it. I don't know. And try to be like, okay, yeah, but I could do better here. So I noticed that was one of my toxic traits. And I also don't know how to react when people do kind things because I'm always used to being a person that does kind things, that when people do it for me, I start feeling like I owe them something.
I was gonna say that because your love language is showing acts of kindness. So it's weird that you're saying that you feel some type of way when somebody shows you acts of kindness.
Right. So that is my love language. And that's why it's a toxic trait, because I like it, but at the same time, I don't know how to react to it. So I react to it negatively when I really want to react to it positively. So people are like confused, like, well, why are you upset? Or I'll look at somebody sideways, like, why are you being so nice to me? Like
you think there's a plan B? Like,
right. I feel like there's the like, you washed the dishes, you did this. What do you want? I can't ever be like, oh, thank you. Just say thank you, Steph. Say thank you for doing it. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what
I think I can relate to that because, like, I know a lot of the time, like, if you have, like, I know for me, if somebody does something and I'm like, but if it's not done to my standard, I'm like, oh, but you could have done it this way. Like,
Mhm.
you didn't do this, like, but you didn't do that. So it's more so like not reflecting on the positive, but like finding a negative in something when you should just be
Right.
happy that
I think
somebody took
that's a
something off
good
your
one.
plate, you know?
Like
Yes.
just finding negatives in everything. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a good
I
way
can
to
I
put
can I
it.
can agree I can agree to that. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense because I think like y'all I'm always like what's the catch? Like what's the
Right.
catch to
Yeah,
this? Like
Like who
nothing
said
in
this?
life is free.
Right.
exactly. What you
Exactly right.
want,
Right.
and I literally thought like that, like recently, because everything was just being done how I mentioned, and I'm just like in the back of my head, I'm just like, what they want, what
Mhm.
you want.
Like what's going on?
And I think you also like what you mentioned, like sometimes we want things done the way we want them to be done. So
Hmm.
when people do certain things, like wash the dishes, and it's like you go back and you see the dishes and you're like, this is not how they're supposed to
They
be.
greasy. They so
And
greasy.
right. And instead
Why
of
that's still food
saying,
on here? I don't understand. But you know
yeah,
what?
like why is the sink still dirty? Like that's part of cleaning the dishes, like,
Hmm.
and instead of like you said, seeing the positive in it, like, oh, okay, at least they tried. Instead you
Hmm.
focus on the negative, which is very toxic.
Toxic.
And
Yeah.
it takes a lot of maturity to be like, thank you for washing the dishes.
I
And
don't know
then
why I'm
say,
laughing.
however, next time, can you clean the sink right along with it? It's
Right.
not too much to ask. And you can't say it too sarcastically because now that's the
Yeah.
toxicity coming out of it.
It's
That is also
hard. Now
something
that
I
I
have to
think
work
about it, it's
on.
hard not to be toxic.
Yes.
Yes. And
Because
it's
it's crazy because
hard.
a lot of times people are like, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or you're being for real, like because of tone, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
recognizing things like that about yourself. Okay, maybe I should say like a little bit more like pitch to my voice versus like being so monotone or like,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Pitch. Pitch is everything, huh?
Like, oh, like, raise your voice a little bit, but not be like
It's
loud.
funny that you say that because but this is why I don't do that. Because when we were training my dog, they would say, even if you're calling your dad, you can say, you dumb fucking dog, you fucking dumb, and the dog will come at you because you're going, your tone is so happy.
But
Mm-hmm.
you said so much negative stuff. Like,
Yes, you're over here telling
Yep.
them, gonna fucking kick your ass, but you're happy. They're like the dog is gonna wiggle its tail and come at you because
right.
you're relating a positive tone. So the
Right,
tone
right.
just.
Even dogs understand tone. Like, yeah.
Hmm. Yep, yep, they
I
do.
think being pessimistic is another toxic trait. Like I've run across people because I'm one of the people that see the cup half full versus half
Half
empty.
empty, yeah.
But I've been around people who see the cup half empty, and like being around that type of energy typically like
Mhm.
has it's like, oh my God, like I'm so excited and I'm up here and I'm like, oh my God, like we can probably do it this way. And then here comes this person, like, but what if this happens?
Right.
And
Yeah,
I'm like, bro, can we at least give it a chance before you start
Exactly.
talking about
Going
this
on.
wrong?
Negative
that's
Yes,
Nancy.
true. That's true.
right.
Going on. We
So
ain't
But you
got
know
time
what?
for
I
that
feel
over
like
here.
I think my toxic trait would be like not getting excited over things anymore. Like shit doesn't excite me anymore. I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay, cool. Like,
and we're just sitting here like, oh, okay, fine.
yeah, no, I think it's just like for me, I think that's one of my toxic traits. Well, now that you say it, because like shit doesn't excite me. So I'm like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I'm happy for you, but okay.
you
Okay.
don't you don't show the happiness as you're
Yeah,
not as
I'm happy
excited
for
as you want
you.
to
Right.
I
be.
just don't, yeah, I
Happy
just don't.
internally.
Right.
You
Yes.
can't see it, but on the inside, I'm very happy for you.
Right. Right. It's on the inside.
And I think one of the excuses that I use, because I can be that type of person too, where I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, well that's great. Like I'm happy for you. And then people are like, they want you to be like, oh my God, like that is awesome. And I'm like,
Yes.
but I always tell people that it's not that I'm not happy. It's more so that because I expect it from them, like it's not as
Mm.
surprising. It's like I expected this from you. Like I expected you to excel the way that you have excelled.
Yes.
So the fact that
So
you did it is
Yes.
not a surprise, you
right.
know?
It's like
Yes.
I'm like, so like for example, if my son comes home with an A, it's like if I get
Hmm.
overly excited, it's kind of like, oh, I've never expected this from you. I'm like, I know you could do it. You just weren't
That is
applying yourself.
true. That is
Right.
true. That is so
Right. So
true.
I think that's something else too, where like people want you to celebrate all their doings. Like, if they took a shit 2 times a day, they want you. I
Because
was
they
like,
couldn't go
bro,
all week, and then all of a sudden they
Oh
took
my
a
God,
shit.
yes. And it's like,
yes.
come on now.
Awesome.
You're supposed to. Like, damn. Like, I don't know. I think you're right. It's people just expect us to, I don't know. Maybe it is a negative trait that we can't like, I don't know, celebrate every single thing in life.
Yeah, it's
You
like,
know
come on.
what? Life has just been life. So life has taught you to just chill the fuck out because it's just like it's
Right.
life. Shit gonna happen. Shit ain't gonna happen. Shit gonna go all over the place. It's just we just navigate and that's all we're doing day to
That's
day.
true.
Yep.
Way to
Okay.
get us very depressed.
And
All
I
right.
also think, I was gonna say, I also think, but maybe we can talk about that. 'Cause I think that's
Yeah. That's
yeah,
gonna be the one you get cut off on.
right.
So question number 2. How can someone differentiate between having a bad day and repeatedly showing toxic traits?
Hmm.
Hmm. Repeatedly showing toxic traits. I mean, I guess when you're having a bad day, it's just like a one, once in a while thing versus
Yeah.
people who are toxic. Like you come in
It's
toxic,
all the time.
All
yes,
every day.
like a big cloud just coming in and like, bruh, just
Like
chill.
sadness from the movie.
Yes,
They be like, "Oh Lord, there she come."
yes. Like here she come with all this
Oh,
negativity. Oh my God, la
sadness.
tóxica.
Not la
So
tóxica.
I guess the way you can differentiate, I mean, you can tell by the way people react when you come in a room if you are toxic or not, because you're just gonna change the whole vibe. It's just like if a person who has a lot of energy, when they come in a room, they're gonna come with that energy. But if everybody be quiet when you come in and everybody just like the room just go quiet and everybody just looking at you, you're probably the toxic one.
Am I
Yeah.
the problem? Like the meme. Am I the problem?
Is it me?
Yeah, yeah, it's you.
Yeah, that I had never thought about it that way. But
I
that
feel
makes a lot
like
of
I
sense.
guess like you said, yeah, you have like bad days or moments shouldn't like last all day. And I
All
Yeah.
think
lifetime.
being able
Yeah.
to control your emotions makes a difference, you know?
You both gonna
Are
tell
you
us.
a mean girl? Like being a
Mm.
mean girl is like embedded in you. That's not just a bad day. That's just who you are. You know, if you're a mean girl, you're a mean girl.
But being a
Um,
mean girl is not being toxic. Those are two different things.
no, because you can be toxic and be mean. Like you can
Yeah, but
be
but there I think there's two
a
different
person
things
who
though.
picks on people. I think
But that's
that's
a
a
So,
mean
bully.
girl.
That
yeah,
doesn't necessarily mean that you're toxic because there's people out here running the streets being the nicest people around to everybody, but baby, you talk to them and they'll be just spewing evil, just evil. But when you see them, they're the nicest people ever. So I don't necessarily mean that think that being a mean girl is being
I agree
toxic.
because some people can look sweet as hell and be toxic as fuck, have
Baby.
ill intentions, and you'll be like, bruh,
And smile at your face and just be like, yes, yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh my God, you are so, I never thought of it that way, but that is
Yes.
so true. Like you do have people that out, like just looking at them out here, they look like they're just the most positive people. But when you actually sit down and get to talk to them, you're like, wow, like
What's
you're
that saying?
really,
Beware of the wolf in sheep's clothing.
oh, yes,
Those
facts.
are the ones that scare me. Fuck the mean girls. I can take some evil
I mean,
people. I
at
mean,
least you
some mean
know they
people.
mean, yeah.
Yes, I can take somebody being toxic where I'm like, I just know to like not step around that person, not to match their energy versus somebody that just pretends to be nice and pretends to be your friend and
yeah.
woo hoo hoo right here in front of you. And then as soon as you turn around,
I think that could be the most dangerous toxic trait to
Yep.
have. Because you can't tell these people, like, you're like looking at them like, wow, I thought you look so nice from afar. And then when you get to know
from
them and
afar,
they're spewing all of this
evil.
negativity and evil, and you're like, wow, I would have never thought you were this way. Like,
Yep.
I've actually encountered people who look sweet as hell, and then they start talking and they're like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that," and I'm
In
not
the most nicest way.
like, why wouldn't I help this person?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and
Yeah.
then they try to turn you into one of them, and I'm like, no, that's not me. And like, I don't need that type of negative energy. I mean, negative karma in
Yeah.
my life. But it's crazy though. I think those might be the most dangerous people
Mhm.
Yeah.
to encounter because they can be toxic and they can literally. It's kind of like a cancer. Like they can enter your
Oh,
system and turn you into a whole
yes.
different person.
Yes.
Yeah. So like Rose said, I could deal with the mean girls. Look, you can be mean all day if you want to, but those little
Yeah.
toxic ones that don't look toxic, mm, yeah.
I
That's
still think being mean is a toxic trait because it depends on how you're mean. Like,
so
I
I,
don't have an example right off the back of my head, but I do think like certain means can be toxic. Like, you
I
can
think
not
first of
have good
all,
intentions towards people. You know, you can intentionally try to hurt somebody's feelings. You can try to like intentionally put
that is
somebody
I guess that
down.
is toxic because like if we go back to the list, you know, like it says you feel like you're being manipulated. And usually mean girls like to manipulate people. Um you feel like you deserve an apology from them because they'll say something mean.
But
Um
see,
and you never feel fully comfortable around them because you don't know what to expect from them.
but this is where we go back and being like the devil's advocate because it also, so are all toxic people narcissists? Because if we look at that list, a lot of the things that are there are people that are narcissistic traits. And we just talked about narcissism a couple
Mm,
of, a couple of episodes ago.
feel
But if
bad
you,
I'm
they're
about
sure.
yourself in the
manipulators.
present.
Mhm.
They like to gaslight people. Never feel like they're wrong, so they never
That's
apologize.
these are
Um,
definitely sound like some narcissistic
right?
traits.
Right? So it's like, so all narcissism are narcissists toxic?
I believe so. That's what it sounds like. Most narcissists are toxic people, and I think I can agree with that. Like I feel like all the narcissist people that I've had in my life or I've encountered are very toxic.
Toxic.
Yeah.
Mm. Are
Dude,
all toxic people narcissists though?
no, I think because maybe you can like lack in certain areas or like, you know, be toxic in certain areas, but be very like understanding in other areas. Like you can be
Yeah.
well rounded in one area, but maybe lack in another area that you need work in.
Mm.
So,
So I
because
think you can be toxic and not necessarily narcissist, but I feel like
right,
narcissists
If
are
you're a
definitely
narcissist,
toxic.
you're toxic.
no,
Yeah.
for sure.
You like to gaslight people and make people believe something that is not true to where you have people questioning themselves and who they are. And I'm like, wait, did I mess up?
Yeah.
And that's very toxic. Like, why would you implant that seed in my head when you know you're the
Yeah.
one that's wrong?
And they're always feeling like a victim. It's
Oh
always
my
like, oh my
God.
God, everybody's attacking me. And it's like, no, nobody's
that's
attacking you. It's in your head.
that's a good point. That's a good correlation. So we
Hmm. But yes, going back to the question, I just sorry guys, my ADD just randomly kind of oops, if we could do little thought clouds, we would. Um, but I think yeah, like Steph said, not necessarily because I think we all have bad days. I think we
Mhm.
all have bad days, and that can happen based on whatever it is. Some people are people that show their emotions in their sleeves, so they'll be very emotional because of A, B, C, or D. And some of us, like I'm not somebody that shows my emotions on my sleeves, but then little like if I'm having a bad day, not necessarily going to show it, but there's little things that are going to annoy me, and I'm just going to be like, I need 5 minutes
You're gonna be a
because
little toxic. Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm going to be like, you know what? Yeah, I need to step out this room because I'm about to tell people off.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's a good thing that you can, tell when you're being toxic. Like it's like, okay, I'm toxic right because I've done that before where I feel like, okay, I'm having a bad day. I feel like I'm just not feeling it and
yeah,
I'll just avoid certain people. And I'll
yeah,
just be like, okay, I don't think I'm the person that you need to talk to right now because
yeah.
I'm having a shitty ass day.
But I think that's good that you can tell, I'm not the person because, oh my God, I can. I can't look. I don't know why people like coming to give me their dramas, but I am. I guess I'm that type of person. But I've always practiced we listen and we don't judge.
Mm.
So I'm just like, okay, whatever. But sometimes, yeah, it's like you're having your own bad day and people are telling you their own problems. It's like, look, I have my own shit that I got to deal with. I don't want to
Yeah.
listen to your shit.
Can't deal with this right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that's a good one that I need to start practicing where I'm like, you know what? I can't do that right now.
Not
I
today.
can't, I can't, I can't, I can't not today.
Maybe later, check me after 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Let
can't
me
pour
have my
into you
coffee
right now.
first. I
I
don't
Yeah.
can't pour into
know.
I have to
I
Yeah.
pour
think
into myself.
I think
Yeah.
that's what I need to practice. Yes, yes. But and then repeatedly showing toxic traits. I think it's that's a general question. So I would kind of ask like what do they mean by repeatedly showing toxic traits? Because I think there's people that are just gonna be that's and it goes down to the next question. That's just how who they are.
Yeah.
They're not meaning to be toxic. They're not meaning to be mean. That's just the way they are. And it's not
Yeah.
like they're practicing toxicity. It's just they are who they
Just how they
are.
were born. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Okay,
Yep.
so going
Yep.
into the next question, do you think toxic traits are learned from childhood experiences or are they shaped by adulthood circumstances?
Both. I think
Both.
definitely both.
I think it
Uh,
goes back to like, yeah, you may have been raised a certain way, but as an adult, you have the choice to make a difference and to make a change. And it's like,
yeah.
do you want to make that change or not? And if not, like a lot of people, oh my God, I've come across so many people who are like grown adults and they're like, well, because of my childhood, you were over
Yes.
30, you were over 50. Like, let that shit go and be different. Choose to be better, choose to be different, but they choose to like fall back to shit from 30 years ago. Let it go.
Rich.
Move on.
Yeah. This is where we want the button. Button. Yeah. I definitely agree. It's like stop playing victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, things happen to all of us. Like you give me one person that's a minority that was raised in a minority household that didn't go through some kind of trauma.
Facts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like I think for us it's difficult to relate to people having like explaining everything back to their childhoods. We all have that trauma. That doesn't mean that we decide to be toxic people.
Right.
Right.
But we go back to that like shit, we don't know. Are we
Like,
toxic?
oh, my dad was a drug dealer. That's what he did. So I'm not gonna move out the hood. I'm gonna be a drug dealer too. Like, no, you don't
Yeah,
have
no.
to be in the hood. You don't have to be a drug dealer. There's an
Right.
example. There's plenty of examples. That's
That's a
just one I
choice,
thought
yeah.
of. Like, it's a
Yeah.
choice.
Like you
You
choose to
know,
Mhm.
stay there. You choose to stay in the hood. You're just
you
using
choose
that
to
as
be a
an
product of your
excuse.
environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're choosing that as an excuse to make you feel comfortable in
Right.
your skin and
Yeah.
in your choices.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, mm-mm.
Definitely. You look at that whole nature versus nurture theory, and I've always been a believer that is everything. Everything that you're put through in life, everything that surrounds you, the way you're raised, your circumstances, the circle of people that you put yourself around, they're all gonna have some kind of effect on you. So if you're hanging out around toxic people, it's gonna,
You're gonna
it's gonna stick to
pour
you
out. Yeah.
some way or another. You're going to end up being a toxic person. um Again, as an adult, we have that option. We have the option to say, you know what, maybe this is not the person I want to hang around with.
Mm-hmm.
Or the people, like Shay say, the people that are always blaming their childhood, maybe, yeah, this is not the person that I want to hang around with. They've got
Mm-hmm.
their own little traumas, and maybe they need to deal with that first before they're able to accept their level of toxicity.
Yep. And it goes back to like you said, just to piggyback off what you said, a lot of people say you are who you hang with. And, if you surround yourself with people who think positive, who are goal oriented, it's
Yeah.
more likely that you will accomplish your goals because that's what you're getting fed every day versus if you're around people that are always negative and always saying, oh, well, I can't do this or always playing the
Yeah.
victim, you're going to tend to start doing similar things.
Yeah.
Um, what was I going to say? I actually was telling my husband the other day, I was like, you need to hang around more married people. I said, now that you're married, I said, because you hang around a lot of single
Yes.
people and they're living a single life and you
Yep.
start getting influenced by it.
Yep.
I said, I'm not saying don't hang out with your single friends, but you also need to hang out with more married couples
Yeah.
that you can relate to. you know.
Yeah.
Or not even just that, like you got to make sure, like even if it is your singles, I think I saw something like that recently on social media. Even if it is your single friends, you have to have single friends who understand where you are in your life and respect where you are in
Yes.
your
Right.
life.
Your
So you have
Yes,
boundaries.
people who
definitely.
will try to influence you to do bad because, oh
Mhm.
well, but if you
I'm
have
single.
single friends who respect you being married, they ain't gonna let you just go for anything.
Yeah, you
Right.
know, the ones that be like, "Oh, she not gonna let you go. You're not gonna come because she not gonna let you go." You know, they start gaslighting you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, and now
yeah,
you know, as
Why? Like,
men, you got an ego. Now you got a point to
yeah.
prove, and now you in a
exactly.
doghouse.
But if your friend was just like, oh, why don't you go? And you say, hey, this is the reasons. Oh, okay. Well, shit, I'll fuck with you next time then. That's
Right,
somebody who
Mhm.
understands and respect like what you got going on. So
Yeah,
even
right,
if you're single, okay, cool, but you got to have the right people in your circle, single or not. Because you can
yeah,
have
definitely.
some married friends who could be out there doing some damn dirt behind their
exactly,
spouse's back, and
right,
that's not good either. So
right,
married single, just have the right
Facts.
people in your circle.
I think also
exactly.
have people that are genuine, that are
Yes,
genuine with what they're doing. Because I mean, you go out here, you see all these perfect married couples, but then you turn around and
they got skeletons in the closet.
Yeah.
too many skeletons in their closets. Yep, yep.
Yep, that's
And
facts.
you're like, well, weren't they like couple of the year? And all of a sudden they're like, oh no, he's trying to get divorced, but it's too hard to
Mhm.
They
divorce her.
toxic. They toxic.
Next thing you know, the wife done stabbed the husband. What is come from? Like,
Not stabbed.
what is this?
That's
Well, shit, she
awful.
wanted to kill his ass the whole time. So,
The whole time. Yep. She was waiting for his life insurance clear, the check to clear.
And
It's
we just be sitting there like, oh my God, I would have never known this was happening.
Mhm.
yep.
Yep, yep, yep.
That's
But
why
yeah,
you
So
can't.
definitely I think it's
Yep.
shaped by both.
I was
yeah.
gonna say that brings me to my next offense. That's why you can't believe everything on social media either, because
Yes.
Yes.
everybody seems happy on social media. You have these couples, and next thing you know, there's a suicide, murder, suicide, like because it gets extreme like that. Somebody had been beating
Yeah.
on somebody, and
Yeah.
people was like, and then actually, I saw something like that. This girl had posted, all she had with her boyfriend. They had just had a baby together, and like he beat the shit out of her. And
Ooh.
it's crazy. People in the comments was like, I would have had no idea you was going through this. All she posted was pretty pictures, smiling, happy,
Yeah. Of their
new
perfect life.
baby. And then next thing you know, she's going through this behind closed doors. So, which brings
Mm.
my next question. So, how can social media and technology amplify toxic traits? And what can we do to protect our mental health from it?
And I think kind of what you
Oh,
said.
damn.
It's yep. It's what you said. It's portraying falsehood, like false
Mm-hmm.
realities.
Mm-hmm.
People not going out there and actually saying, "Hey, this is what we're living through." Anybody that asks me, I tell them like, marriage is not simple. Marriage is not easy. It's not always rainbows and butterflies. It's maybe 50-50. 50%
Yeah.
fun, 50% struggle.
Yeah.
Because half of the time you're having fun with this person, you love this person, you're like, damn, I can't live without this person. Then the other half, you're like, what the fuck did I do marrying this person? It's very 50-50. But again, I think social media, and I think over time it's getting a little better. We have more influencers or more people out there that are willing to speak their truths, that are out there saying, this is what my marriage was like, or
Yeah.
this is what's going on, or look, I'm parenting a child by myself because my husband was a no good man, left me with for his mistress. So I
Yeah.
think
You do have
it's
that from
getting,
time to
yeah,
time.
I
Yeah.
think it's getting better. But
Yeah.
is it to where everybody's seeing it? No, I think social media needs to definitely do better in portraying the reality of relationships or people or circumstances.
I think
I
it
definitely
ain't even.
appreciate.
hmm
But
I think even when it comes down to people in the comments, toxic traits can be shown in
Oh,
comments.
yeah,
it's some
So,
real toxic
it
people in them
definitely
comments.
amplifies people being very bold in comments, like things that they
they call
probably
you
wouldn't say to
toxic.
nobody
They
to
call
their
you ignorant
face.
I
They
feel like
and
say it on
racist.
social media. Yeah, people can be real
yes,
racist on social media, openly racist on social media, openly ignorant
yes.
on
A
social
lot of
media.
people hide behind social media and like they're
Definitely.
like little social media bullies. Like
What
damn
is it that
well
they call them?
in real life you wouldn't have said this to my
Bitch,
face,
because
but
I
now
beat your
you're
ass.
Is it
yeah,
the
like
keyboard warriors? Is that what they're called? Keyboard warriors, something
Keyboard
like that?
warriors,
keyboard bullies
trolls,
because they be
Yeah.
saying
people
some
who
stuff.
legit make troll accounts just to be like dicks to people.
Yes.
Yes. That's crazy that people make like
Powerful.
trolling accounts. That's
But you
ridiculous.
won't post it from your actual account, but you're gonna sit there and make a fake page about
That is
it.
extreme toxicity. Like you are going above and beyond to create a fake account just so you can be
That's
toxic
crazy.
and
You've
make
got too
people
much
feel
time in your
bad.
hand. You've got too much
Child,
time in your
listen,
hand
While
if
you
you're
hide your
creating.
identity.
facts. Like, show your face. This ain't even you. Who is this on
Mm.
your profile? This ain't you.
Yeah, yeah. Let us know let
Now
us know
that
where
you
you work
said
at so we
that,
can report you to your HR and show them how you
I
acting
had
on social media.
I had a coworker one time back when I used to do taxes in the early 2000s and 10s. And she would literally be there with me next to me and she'd be like, "Look, I'm creating an account because I'm gonna go do this, and that." And I'm like she would have this whole Facebook because Instagram wasn't a big thing and TikTok wasn't even nowhere in existence. But she would literally create a whole Facebook account with like somebody else's picture and go into like add people that she didn't like and start like just sending random messages. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like for you to have the time to be adding all these people that you don't care about, like Jesus. Like
But
no, 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 no.
you know what that is people
Toxic.
who have low self-esteem and they don't have confidence in themselves, that
Mm.
it's
Oh,
like
it's a
they
lot of deflecting on social
it's
media.
a
Yep.
lot of deflecting.
Mhm.
Like I'm deflecting my insecurities on you. So because I'm not secure in this department, I want you to feel just as insecure as me. So I'm gonna tell you these things. I'm gonna make you feel this way, and it's just toxic as fuck.
You have
Yeah, and I
no
think
you don't know how many times people done been like, oh, well, you just ghetto trash. You probably got X amount of baby daddies and you probably not even in a relationship. I'm like, and they're like, you're probably not educated. I'm like, y'all have no
but
idea
you like
what
trolling
I
too though. That's because you like
Bro,
finding
Shay
these
be
people.
entertaining them.
She
I
does.
won't. I plead the
She
fifth.
does. She does. That's why she
I
be
plead
in
the fifth.
social media jails.
I'll be scrolling. I'll be like, is that Shay
Speaking of
responding to
social media
somebody?
jail, I can't go live on Instagram until February, FYI.
Right. What
What
did you
happened?
do?
You see?
Who you over here? Who you told off?
It don't even matter at this point.
That's awful, Shay.
It don't even
She
matter
said
at this
till
point.
February.
That is crazy.
That's crazy because don't they put you like in jail for like 10 days first? So the
Yeah,
fact that
it's
you're
a
in
progress.
February,
It's progress.
That means she didn't have chance after chance. She had a warrant.
Now I'm arrested, goddamn, for
I
30
had social
days.
media warrants. That's
Dang.
crazy.
Well, that's good to know.
But to add to the second portion of that question, so we definitely talked about how social media can amplify toxic traits. And it says, what can we do to protect our mental health from it? Man, I'm infamous for taking hiatuses. Like I like taking days off of my social media, where I'm just like, let me log out, of all my social medias
Yeah.
and let me not go in there.
Mhm.
Because even if it's
Yeah.
just to kind of cleanse yourself from being on the phone that much, because you think about it, how often are you finding yourself grabbing the phone just to go through like TikTok or
Girl,
Instagram
often.
or
Yeah.
Facebook? Yeah, so I think every few months I like to just log out of everything and just say, fuck it. I'm not gonna die if I don't know what happened to,
Yeah.
I don't know, to baby, I don't know, little Bow
Yeah.
Wow. If I don't
No,
know
I
what
definitely
happened to little Bow
say
Wow.
log off for sure. I know times when I become like overly emotional, regardless of whatever it is, I'm just like,
Yeah.
you know what? I deactivate my page for a couple
Yeah.
days and don't even get on like, because I'm just like, I feel like, especially when I'm feeling away, social media, the algorithm has a way of showing you everything that you feel. Like,
Yeah.
so it just kind of like enforces how you feel and like, heightens it. So I'm just like, you know what, let me log off, deactivate for a while. I don't even want to go on the page at all. Like, just
Yeah.
so I can like get out that mindset or whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get on social media and it's like, I got on there one day and mind you, I can't be on my phone really while I'm at work. So I'm like,
Okay.
throughout the day, I'm not on social media, which is why I haven't really posted to our page because I'm like, I can't while I'm at work.
Mhm.
But uh what I was gonna say? Oh, but yeah. So then I get on after work and I'm like, as soon as I get on, it's negative. Somebody dies, something this happened, somebody got
Yeah.
shot. And I'm just like, what? Like you get on here,
Something's
this is
always
nothing
happening
but bad
now.
shit. I'm like, let me get
That's
off of here.
true.
I don't want to deal with this right now.
Yep.
That's true. Yep,
Hmm.
yep, yep. That's crazy because it is true. Something's always happening, and now it's like we can't just rely on their news. Now everything's on social media, so we're getting our news from social media.
Speaking
Also,
of, y'all saw that car that fell from fucking 59
mhm.
onto
I
like
heard
the
of it in the
HOV onto.
morning.
That's
Did
my
they
worst
live?
fear. No, they got hurt. I mean, they
Wow.
live and they got hurt really
Oh,
badly.
Oh, they
goodness.
lived? Oh,
I mean,
I heard
from
it
what
was
I
found.
saw, that it was like critical, like they were like badly hurt. But I haven't followed up on it to see if they died or not. But I know like the people who they
Oh,
hit, like when they fell off the freeway, the HOV,
that's crazy.
they wasn't bad. They was like no minor
But what
injuries.
happened? How did they end up?
They was probably speeding too fast on the
On the
HOV and trying
HOV.
to make that like a sharp turn. You know how they
Mm-hmm.
HOVs be going.
It's really easy to miss your turns on those HOVs.
And they went through the goddamn solid brick. You know how hard fast you got to be driving to go
I
through that
think they
concrete?
hit it and then the car flipped over the
That
Mm-hmm.
is my
freeway.
worst fear. And I saw
Girl.
that happen to somebody, and I'm just like,
That's
that is
awful.
crazy. See
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. I can't. That's why I need to get on social media because my worst fear is be on social media. The worst
It was
ones.
bad. I'm looking at the
Yeah,
Yeah,
picture.
they ain't even had no tires on their car after that shit happened. The tires was gone.
No,
that's
it said
crazy.
two people inside the SUV were taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries.
Damn. I
That's
hope they're okay. I hope they made
crazy.
it.
That's my worst fear. Or having like some like an 18 wheeler fall off the mug and then roll on top of my car. Like could you just
It said
somebody was
the
like
person hit the walls of the T ramp at West Belford
so
HOV
like boom
entrance. Yeah.
boom. They was probably and they maybe it was a turn or some point
They said
and
they
they
barreled through
just
the concrete barrier and launched into the freeway's main lanes and hit
but they
two
was
other
probably speeding
vehicles.
though. They was probably speeding because there's no way you going like 20 miles an hour. Well, I don't
And
know how
that
much
happened.
I don't know how much force it takes to make that happen, but I feel like it has to be
That's
a lot.
crazy.
Yeah.
Whoa, the whole concrete wall. That's freaking crazy.
But that happens a lot though. That's not like it happens at least a couple times a year where somebody falls through or barricades through those things and like yeah.
The actual
Or maybe
concrete
like
wall, though?
or maybe like with 18 wheelers when they're trying to like go
That
around those circles and they may go too fast and
that's
then
a lot
like
of
the
force.
trailer is like may flip over.
I think
That has
18
happened
wheelers, it makes a
before.
lot more sense because they're so big and they're so like, I don't know, they drive like they're little cars. But for like
Mhm.
a regular car, let me
No,
send y'all this
they
picture
had to
right
be
now.
speeding, but that's my perspective. I don't 100% know
That's
because I'm just
crazy. I just
assuming
sent
they
y'all
were speeding.
the picture of the concrete barrier because it's not like it flipped out of the like normal freeway. It broke the
It
concrete
broke
wall.
through. Hmm.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
That
But
has to
that
be a
goes
lot of
back
force.
as to why we have to kind of be off of social media and kind of just pull ourselves back to reality because all this stuff happening is crazy.
It'll have
Somebody
you
said
paranoid.
not only do you have to look left and right, now you got to look up when you're driving
Isn't
because
that
somebody
crazy?
might be falling out the sky.
Man,
It's not funny, but when she
that
said
just
it, it was funny.
it's just scary. It's just scary now, just being on these roads. And then that's why people don't like us Texas drivers. We already drive reckless, but like at least we know how to drive around other
Bro,
Texans. But now if you're jumping off the damn freeway, there's not much we can
I
do.
avoided that exactly.
Like, what were you
Like, and I done
doing?
seen so many accidents, like dash cams. I'm like, I'm not gonna invest in a dash cam because, especially working for like a person injury law firm, I'm like, yeah, you need a dash cam. People be lying all the fucking time. Your word against theirs, especially if there's no witnesses. And
Yep.
but the problem with that is again, social media is like I'm seeing so many bad accidents, like freak
Yeah.
accidents. It makes me a little nervous because I'm like, a tire could come through your windshield, like because that happened to somebody.
Yep.
Like it's just so many things that can go wrong just driving. Because
Yep.
and I seen these things on social media. Now I'm like wondering, like,
It's
oh shit, is a
scary.
tire rolling? Like, what's gonna happen?
Yep.
Yeah, it's scary.
But yeah, sometimes you just gotta log off and deal with reality. I think back then the older people they had the news to put fear in them. My mom used to be fearful all the time. This can happen. This can happen. But see, I didn't watch the news as much, so my fear was like a lot less than hers. But
Hmm.
now we have social media, and I'm like, well, I'm seeing all these things happen, and it's like, okay, social media is the new news. Like, where you
Yep.
see
It
everything
You
that's
is.
see it
going
there
wrong.
first. Yep. Soon as something happens, you log on to social media. There it is.
It's
Right
crazy.
there, your algorithm. Here you go.
Yeah. Like here's destruction to your already destroyed life.
Right.
Oh man. But yeah, log off. When you're feeling away, when it's too much,
I
just log
agree.
off because that's
I
probably the best
agree.
thing to do.
I
Yeah.
definitely
Yep.
agree with that. Logging off. not entertaining other people online.
Oh. I'm gonna say also to that, I think a lot of people need to just be happy with their lives, you know, because I
Yeah.
think people get on social media, and of course, no, I mean, a lot of people don't post the negatives. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people post the positive because who wants to remember the negatives?
Right.
But you know, I think people just need to focus on their own life and understand that everybody has a different path, you
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
know, and everybody's path is different, and everybody's favor comes at their own time, at their own pace, because a lot of people sit there and they see a lot of positivity going on in somebody's life, and again, we're only seeing the positivity, we're not seeing the background, and but the background situation, the fights, the arguments, the
You don't
money
see
that's
it.
being invested into like a business, you know.
Exactly. Or
Mm-hmm.
And
being
people,
jealous because somebody had a house, but like you never know. What if they was homeless for like 3 years
right,
and they
Yeah.
finally was
exactly,
able to get something and like that's their own, that nobody can take well, somebody can take that away if you don't pay your mortgage. But for the most part,
right,
you can take it away.
Shay.
right,
For the most part, you feel like
and
and you might be jealous because I want a house and they got a house, but you just
right,
never know their struggle up until that point. They probably ate noodles for
right,
a whole year straight to afford that house.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So
You
I
never know
think
people's silent battles.
Mm-hmm.
exactly. You don't know people's silent battles. You don't know the work that they put in. Like, just live in your moment, live in your truth, you
I agree.
know. And because I feel like a lot of people get on social media and they see all this, oh my, like you said, oh, they bought a new house. And I was like, okay, I want to buy a house. I'm like, you weren't thinking about a house until you see somebody else buying a house. And it's like, it becomes a competition. And it's
Now
like,
I can see if you use that for motivation, right? Because I've seen people get new houses all the time or like certain like nice
right,
houses. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get that one day. That's a different mindset versus you like, well, how
right.
they get that house and being negative and a Debbie
Negative
Downer and
Nancy.
just speaking negative on
Yeah.
somebody because you don't have it. That's different.
Right. Right. Because I know one thing I do is when I'm slacking in the gym, I go look at all them little gym influencers,
Girl.
and
And
I'm
be
like, you
like,
know
What?
what?
I
You need
need
to
to
get
get
Don't
your
in the
believe all the
gym.
gym influencers because
I don't believe them, but I'm like, okay, well, they motivate me to get up and go to the gym. I'm like, you probably lost
Look,
your body, but
exactly.
I know
But
that
it's
I can
enough
go
to
get
make me want to
mine.
go get the same thing,
Right.
even if it's
Right.
gym
I'm like,
related.
right.
even if
So,
it's not through the gym.
like, girl, I know you ain't get there in the gym, but okay, you motivated me to
Yep.
go.
Yep.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, people just need to be happy in their moment and in
In their
their, I
own
mean,
shoes, yeah.
yeah. So,
Yep.
all right. So we want to thank you for tuning into our podcast. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe to our channel, like, and comment. We love feedback. While you're at it, follow us on all streaming platforms. Wherever you stream your podcast, we are there. Also, if you have a topic that you would like for us to discuss, or if you just like to be a guest on our podcast, feel free to email us or shoot us a DM. Again, thank you and see you next week for your weekly scoop serving. Peace.
Bye.